Ladies, I'm so excited because I get the opportunity to interview Dr. Taffiney Williams on her book, AI Without Chaos. Ladies, thank you for joining us. And Taffiney, oh my gosh, I'm so very excited about this because your book has been out for just a short time, but it is very powerful. As we start, first tell me what prompted you to write the book.
I came from an auditing background, and there is a framework that I have used way back, starting probably 2004, 2006 or so, and it was the YES framework. I had someone reach out to me, and they were asking about implementing AI. They wanted to have a voice agent created to help them in their small business, and that was the first thing they said. I want this voice agent, and I want it to do this, and I want it to do that. So my first question is, what do you already have? What are you working with? And they're like, oh, well, I use this for this and this for that. And I started listening to it, and it sounded so chaotic to me. I thought, wait a minute. We're not using all of the capabilities of any of the tools that we already have in place.
Wow.
And we're wanting to add an additional tool to have this one specific thing done. They had several AI tools working, but not all of one.
Okay.
So it was the assessment that was necessary to back off of the chaos so that we could see, number one, what do you have? Let's audit the system. And this is the framework. Let's audit the system. Let's get rid of what's not working. Let's add what is working, and then we can shift into what's next. So it was the pause, the purge, the pivot, and the shift.
Okay.
So when I thought about this is what I did back in my career days, my corporate days as auditing casinos, which is a regulatory industry, I also started seeing how fast AI was moving, and there wasn't any governance around it. There wasn't compliance around it. And with that was also causing another layer of chaos. So it was all of these different areas of chaos that was going on. And AI only speeds up what you already got going on. So if there's not systems in place, if there's not workflows in place, if there's not all of these things, then you're going to end up in a bad space. And I didn't want to do that. So I said, you know what? I'm sure this is not the only person that is dealing with this. Why don't we just stop and see what it looks like to put appropriate guardrails in place, look at our systems and see what's working, what's not working, and shift into this new era of AI.
Wow, that's very powerful. So before we go on with the book, you had 3 P's and an S.
I know, right?
Take me back to what started the 3 P's and S.
It's very interesting because there was a time where it was just the purging, the pivoting, and the shifting. And it was a purpose shift is what it was. It really was purpose shifting. Like it was shifting into the purpose of something because we have to be mindful of the motives of our movements. But when I realized that you can purge things that you don't even realize that may be useful if they're reformatted.
Oh, wow.
So I had to stop and say, instead of just kicking out, what do they think? Throwing out the baby with the bathwater or bathwater with the baby, something like that. What if it wasn't about the baby in the bathwater, but the temperature? Or you see what I'm saying? Or what soap you were using. Maybe we can keep both of them, And so when I thought about the pause, right? Let's stop and slow down. That was simple. It's kind of what we do in our spiritual walk even.
Yes.
We stop and we're like, wait a minute. I keep
Well, it's
messing
what we
up.
should do.
What? True. When it comes to what we're supposed to be renewing our mind to do, you renew your mind, you don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Why? so that you can test and approve that the work of God is good and perfect for you. Like there's a reason why we're
Yes.
doing this. We're not just renewing our minds so we can get more information, because information by itself doesn't bring transformation. The information creates a revelation. Oh, wait a minute, something's not right, right? And then once we have the information, we get the revelation. The revelation itself should be applied. That's the application. That's the pivot. And then we shift into the transformation. So it's still all the same thing. Let's slow down, see what we're dealing with. Let's get rid of the soul ties, the unforgiveness, the negative mindsets, the negative words that we speak over our lives, the lies that we believe. Let's get rid of that. Let's purge that stuff. Let's pivot to renew our mind, to get into a space of worship, a space of gratitude, a space of prayer, a space of consecration, a space of fasting. Let's add those things. Let's pivot to that thing, and then we are transformed and shift into our new life.
That's powerful.
It's
powerful.
It's the same thing across the board. And if we use biblical principles in everything that we do, whether it be AI, whether it be in our marriages or preparing for marriage, I talk about would you marry you? Even in that space, it's the same thing. Let's pause. Where we've been messing up at, let's get rid of these bad habits that we got. Let's pivot into something new. Let's see what date night looks like. Let's see what, spending time to get to know the other person. Let's see who we are, what we're bringing to the table. We can shift into healthy marriages, healthy relationships, healthy businesses, a healthy relationship with AI.
That is so good. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So you say AI without chaos.
Yeah.
What exactly was your focus when you were writing the book?
It's interesting because originally when I thought about it, I was like, okay, let's get systems down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at what systems look like. What is your customer journey? What do you desire your customer journey to look like? I thought about all of these things. And then as I was thinking through that, I was like, you know what? There are lots of tools that can do this. If we're looking at tools, there's lots of tools. But are the tools compliant, and are they governed and healthy guardrails around it? Like, what does the boundaries look like? If we don't put healthy boundaries around it, it can go chaotic. Like, there again, it can start doing a whole bunch of things that it was never designed to do, first of all. And then you're dealing with a reactive thing instead of being responsive. So let's not react to it. Let's be able to respond to it. The difference is reaction is an action that you take because of emotions and all of the other stuff.
Yeah.
We just react. When we respond to something, we have the real tools. We have the truth. We have the guardrails. We have the compliance. We have the structure. We have the boundaries in place. And now we have the information that we actually need to make an educated decision on something. So those were all things now, as I was looking at it deeper and got deeper into each chapter, I was like, oh, wait a minute. If we do this and we're not thinking about privacy issues, if we're not thinking about, some of the settings that are in the tools that we're using, we've got many tools, but there's settings in there that is giving permission to other large learning models to be trained by the information that we put in. Who's teaching those things? Where's the literacy coming in at? Are we looking at who's using, even in our companies, if we have an administrative assistant, for example, that's using it to answer an email because they want to say something, but they don't know exactly what words to say, are they just saying, hey, this is what I want to say, and using that? Or are they saying, hey, Johnny Smith, sent this email, or copying Johnny Smith's email and putting it into the tool? Now you have a security breach. But you as the owner don't know that they're using that. It's called what we call shadow AI. People will say, oh, no, we're not using that in our business, but they don't know. Admin is using it. The hygienist is using it. This person's using it. And all of these tools are being used as putting the business at risk, because they haven't done the risk assessments. So it showed me that there was a need to do the audit. right?
Okay.
For a lack of better terms,
Okay.
it's an audit. It's really
Okay.
assessing what we got going on,
Okay.
seeing what our risk assessments are.
Okay.
What risk are we? Are we high risk or low risk? Are we actually using people's data, or are we just using a philosophy to get an idea? And as a business owner, if you don't know what's going on in your company, that's no excuse. You ain't gonna be able to take that to court when somebody sue you.
Woo!
You're not. It matters not what your intentions
Right.
were. You could have had good intentions, but you're still going to be held responsible. Do you have documentation in place? Because documentation removes the need for explanation. There are so many new laws that are coming down right now that are going to require a certain level of what's the right word? Not authenticity, clarity on what you're using it for, what you're not using it for. Who's able to approve it? Are you still keeping humans in the loop? Or is everything autonomous where it just automatically sends things out? If that's the case, is it sending out the right thing?
So it sounds like your book is built around compliance, but also literacy.
100%.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I feel like in order to understand compliance, you have to be literate in what it is that you're doing.
Okay.
So if we're looking at artificial intelligence as a whole, that's the reason why the framework was there.
Okay.
Like let's pause to make sure we understand what we're actually dealing with here and how this can go wrong. That's always been my thing. How can this go wrong? A lot of people focus on how can things go right. I look at how can things go wrong. And good, bad, or indifferent. It's just kind of how I'm wired. What framework can we build that's going to make sure that the literacy that's necessary to be able to make the right decision of what it is that we use it for or we don't use it for, what we put in there and what we don't put in there, which is compliance, right? Just a fancier way. I mean, a narrowed way of saying compliance. What are the guardrails that are in place? And so I believe that you can't have one without the other. You have to really be literate about what it is that you're doing, what you're using it for, and who is at risk based on what it is that you're doing.
That is so powerful. Yeah. Wow. That is so good. And so you have people who are purchasing your books. Mm-hmm. What type of questions have they I know many have contacted you. What type of questions are they asking?
Well, one of the things that they're really coming back and saying, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. So when they come back and say, well, I never thought about that, the next thing is, what do I need to do? Well, you need to get a risk assessment. You need to look at that risk assessment. You need to make sure that you have the documentation. And they're asking the questions like, what do I need to be aware of? Well, you need to be aware of who is approving the use of it, who is approving which tools you can use, and where is the humans in the loop. And those are all things that can be evaluated through the framework.
That is so good. When you mention humans in the loop, tell me more about that.
So right now we're at the brink of a lot of agentic AI. We're in a space of people building autonomous agents to help them with answering emails. And even I heard something on the news in media today, actually, there are a lot of companies that are using it for hiring purposes. And what happens, and this I didn't know until today, is they give you a score. Like, so say that this company, they're using a lot of third-party companies in order to hire people.
Okay.
Say that your score is not, quote unquote, high enough to get you from actually making the application to actually getting the actual interview. That score stays with you for 300 and some odd days. I can't remember that. That's right.
Almost a whole year.
Almost a whole year. Which means that the next company that comes up and looks at your resume, you got that same score for over almost a year.
Now, I don't think that's fair.
No, it's not fair. But there again, the compliance is not put in place. And this is what I'm saying is, so the reason why compliance is so important is because everyone that reaches out to that third-party company to get their information, they're getting it from a place that score is following you. If the compliance guardrails were in place in that situation, that wouldn't be the case. A week, 2 weeks, or it would be specific to that company.
To the company.
Correct.
Right.
But that's not the case.
Oh my gosh.
So what's happening is, yes, AI is wonderful. It's great. It's able to scan through those, through all of those. I mean, because you think about it, you put out we were talking about casting earlier, so I'm thinking about casting calls, but you put out an ad that says that you need to hire a specific person for a specific task. You may have 50 people that apply for that. And there was a time you went through each one of those applications. You called, you heard their voice, you listened to your spirit to see if you connected with them, all of that. But look how much time that took. Now we have AI tools that can go in and say, oh, yeah, they have that qualification, this qualification. Okay, they're missing out here. They're not quite there. They needed 5 years. They have 3.5, but they're strong over here. And so it's able to do all of this analytical scoring to say, okay, this person is 90% good. It will narrow those 50 people down to 5, and then you interview those 5, and then you make your decision. Great, right? But what if maybe that person didn't have 5 years, but the amount of time that they did have was more engaging in what it was that you're actually looking for in the. So when we talk about humans in the loop, yes, it kicked out those 45, but now I need you to tell me why you kicked out those 45. Give me a report and give me the opportunity to be the human in the loop to say, maybe they didn't have that, but man, they're sure strong in their communication skills. I can work with this part of it, but,
that makes so much
So where's
sense.
the human in the loop?
Wow.
Where is the human in the loop?
This
and that's what I think we need to be.
Sounds like a very tactical book. It sounds like a very needed conversation.
Yeah.
And so when you, I know that you have won awards for the book.
Yeah.
But when you think about the need for the book, what other ways are you trying to get the word out?
I've been utilizing speaking opportunities and looking at other opportunities to speak. I had the opportunity to speak at the AI Insight Summit this year. I was also on a panel at the AI Business Summit earlier this year. And there again, anytime I get a chance to speak, no matter where I'm at, I'm speaking something about the compliance part of AI and keeping humans in the loop. Because that, I think, is one of the most important things. We need to not forget that. This book can be used for training for teams. So if you have teams, even in a corporate space, you can use this book for that as well. Because even in their individual departments, this framework is so super important. And I do want to touch on the framework because of the fact that if you run everything through the lenses of that framework, to pause, to purge, to pivot, then shift, then you can pretty much make sure that you're hitting every one of those components and teaching your people the same. One of the things that I talk about in the book is if you see that you're getting ready to eliminate a position or eliminate an even department even, make sure that you're giving your team the opportunity to get some AI literacy courses, so that they are more marketable in the next job opportunity, or they're able to start their own businesses and take the tools and the wisdom and the education and the experience that they've learned in your business to go ahead and start their own companies.
Yeah.
That's because I think that's where we're at. We're in a very strong entrepreneurial world right now, where there are certain things that I don't like doing. Can I do them? Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna.
Right. You don't wanna.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna. But that may be the thing that you enjoy doing. So why not partner? Why not I do what I'm good at and you do what you're good at? Isn't that what the body of believers is supposed to be anyway? That every one of us, every one of us is a joint. We help things to move forward. So I feel like as employer, if you see that you're getting ready to have to eliminate that job, and that's, like I said, it's something that I mentioned in the book, give them the opportunity to learn the AI tools that will help them. What tools are the best for you? the ones that do what it is that you need to get done, because there's 150. And it's also very strong on the leadership part of things,
Okay.
because I believe that we're called to steward this thing. It's not to replace us, it's to assist us. And the way that we steward it is what's going to make the biggest difference. It's not the ones that are implementing the fastest. It's the ones that are stewarding it appropriately that are going to be the ones that win.
There are so many women who have AI concerns.
Yeah.
Based on your book, is this a book that women should get based on the different AI concerns?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
All of I really do believe that the concerns are completely legitimate.
Yes.
We have completely legitimate concerns when it comes to AI. However, number one, being ahead of the game.
Yes.
Learning what to and not to do. Learning how to continue to seek the face of the Lord about what, you know what I'm saying, what we're supposed to be using or not. And just the whole premise of the framework. I keep going back to framework because, God, I believe, honestly, we were given a beautiful framework in the Word. And if we take that and utilize it in every area, whether it be managing our homes as wives or as moms, or in our cases as grandmas, nanas. I'm a nana, I'm not a grandma. Whatever it is, just taking that framework and making sure that from a leadership perspective, because we are leaders.
Yes.
And shaping the course or shaping the future of AI, I believe, is not just an honor, it's a responsibility. And so the leadership tools that are in the book are super important for women. Being able to look at it from a practical standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, from a mentor standpoint, all of those things in leadership, because tools will change, but the way that you lead is going to be the difference. It doesn't matter what tool you're using. Your leadership skills are going to be the difference between whether you succeed or you don't succeed. And even your decision of what success looks like to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, as AI is growing, compliance will still be an issue. Based on what you see as far as the movement into better compliance, what can you say about that?
I believe that we go back to education, right?
Okay.
We have to educate ourselves on and thinking from a perspective of what can go wrong. I mean, and if we know what can go wrong, how can we get ahead of that and make sure that it's not that thing? Now, I can tell you there are a lot of companies and a lot of our AI tools that we're seeing now that are realizing that compliance is a real issue. And they're starting to implement more when it comes to that and putting some things in place. Even some of our larger CRM, customer relationship management softwares are looking at compliance from a different perspective. Unfortunately, those things are available usually at the enterprise level, which is the more expensive levels. So when we're looking at the free or lower tiered levels, we're not seeing the compliance structured into that system as well as it probably should be. Now, I believe that as we move forward, it's going to become more and more common that people are going to be looking at what does compliance look like. But we have a responsibility.
Yeah.
We cannot leave it to everyone else to make sure that we're staying in a space of compliance. So that's where I feel like we need to concentrate on more.
So solopreneurs, but not just solopreneurs, small business people, it sounds like need to take a look at their business and look at the compliance. How can your book help them?
So I think one of the things, there is a link in my book that takes them to a risk assessment so they're able to see where they score. And once you know where you score, then you're able to start building the things in place that need to be built. Now, over the next few months, there are about 6 months, I'd say, there are some serious things coming down from the government, from higher ups. I'll put it that way, on a state level, on a federal level, and sometimes even industry specific. There are a lot of changes that are coming up. there's a lot of documentation that you are going to be required to have that I don't know if they're talking about it enough. So one of the things that they can do is there again begin to audit their system or reach out to someone. We're more than happy to help you. All of my contact information is in the book, as well as following me on social. But yes, AI Consulting, we do several different things. We help you to do a sprint. I love sprints. You know, it's something about sprint. Let's get there quick.
Yeah.
A sprint to look at what you have, to evaluate through that framework, through the YES framework, and see what you need to put in place. We also have a space where we can help you get your documentation in order. There are at least 6 pieces of documentation that are going to be required within the next few months, and we need to make sure that we have that in place. And then we go deeper, and we actually are building out compliance agents, an AI compliance agent that you can literally have role-based access to. So if you have a question, you know, I know one of the things that's coming down really soon is from the residential appraisers. They're changing all of the forms. So all of the forms that they've been using for the last 20, 30 years, all of that's getting ready to change.
Wow.
And, you know, even with the insurance companies, there's things that are coming down definitely with the insurance companies within the next few months, actually, when it talks about, you know, making sure that there's not discrimination of claims that are being denied because they're using AI to do the claims now. You know, who qualifies for life insurance? Who doesn't qualify for life insurance? You know, does this auto accident, you know, fall within the whatever? So as a small business owner, you're going to have things in place to say, okay, where was the human in the loop in a sense? You know, what documentation do you have in place that shows that, you know, there was not discrimination going on? And then with shadow AI, did you talk to your employees about this? Did they sign a piece of paper that says that they understand what is and isn't allowed? Did they agree to the terms that you have? These are all documentation pieces. So yes, AI Consulting, we actually help you to build out that documentation for your particular location. You may have a business, but you may have 4 locations. Well, things may be done differently a little bit. Do you have SOPs in place, your standard operations procedures in place? Do you have all of these things when the auditor or the you know, person comes in and says, hey, are you audit ready? These are all things that need to be taken seriously with solopreneurs, as well as small to medium business owners.
Small to medium business. You guys hear that? Small to medium businesses.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's very much needed.
Yeah.
So how can they find your book?
So the book is available on Amazon, of course. You can do it that way. You can also look at our website at Yes AI Consulting. You can get the book from there and actually take that risk assessment. It's right there on the website. So they have the opportunity to do that and just kind of follow us through the process, because this is something that is continuously evolving. It is evolving really quickly. And if we don't get this compliance thing down, I think that we're going to be in for a rude awakening.
So, Taffiney, share with the women how they can contact Women Leading in AI and what's coming up in the next few months.
Woo! You know, one of the things that is so beautiful there again about AI is that, like I said, we can move from idea to implementation and execution at the speed of AI. And so we will have a couple of things coming up. One of the things I want to make sure that you just stay connected. That's number one, stay connected. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share with other people that you know that can benefit from the information that we're giving out, number one. And we also have a school community, and that link is there on our page as well, where you can join the community, where we do some teachings inside of there. We got some free prompts inside of there, and we'll be doing more in that space. But on June 26th, which is just a couple of weeks from now, we will have an in-studio audience.
Yes. Yes.
You will be able to ask questions, and we have a special guest that is traveling in from out of state who talks a lot about compliance. And she and her husband are multimillionaires, and they have built businesses from the bottom to the top. They have a blended family. I mean, their story is just so rich. It's just such an amazing opportunity for her to come here and be a part of our Women Leading AI live podcast recording.
Yes.
And you are invited free of
Yes.
charge
Yes.
to come be a part of that audience. Now, it is a small space, so y'all better come and get registered like now. But we've got that coming up. And then after that, next month in July, we will be doing a 3-day challenge, a free 3-day challenge. And then we will give you an opportunity to just join some of our workshops. We got a couple of really good workshops, how to build custom GPTs. So it speaks directly to your voice in building content and all the other good stuff. And then even how to start your own businesses.
Yes.
Like the foundational principles. And, Lisa being a business strategist coach and, just having all of the years of experience that she's had with helping people, you get a chance to glean from both of us and whoever else God puts in our space. And then I'm telling you, mark your calendars, September 26th, we have a huge event coming up, which will be our inaugural. I'm so excited about that. Woo! Our inaugural Women Leading AI Summit on September the 26th. So make sure you guys stay connected so you can know when you can start registering and all that good stuff. We will have all of that stuff available to you. So
Yes. Oh my gosh, Taffiney, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for our next episode of Women Leading AI. God bless.